welcome back to the Bread Brothers. This is your host, Bread Brother Tony. Today we've got two very interesting characters to meet. They've started their very own NFT project here in Perth, Australia. Good to see some Aussies getting into the scene. Very, very excited to see this. We're joined by Pred and Reese. Say hello, guys.
Hey guys.
Thanks for jumping on. You know, I've been trying to chase you guys down for quite a while to hear a bit more about your project and tell our fans a bit about what's been happening. But I'm actually a lot more, like we've done with our other interviews, we're very, very, very interested in hearing about the people behind the project, because one thing I'm actually quite excited about is you straight away put faces to the project. Nothing to think about or worry about with a project like yours. So I'd like to get to know you guys and just hear a bit about where you're from, you know, how you guys got started, a bit about your backgrounds as well, and how you got into the NFT project. Pred, I reckon you're a perfect person to start with.
All right, sure. Let's kick it off. So yeah, my name is Pred, and I was born in Serbia. So I do consider myself Australian, though. I've been here over 25 years now. Love Perth. Perth is a bit home away from home for me, and I love the weather here. But yeah, I'll just dive straight into it. So together with Reese, I'm one of the founders of an NFT project called SOXIES, which will be a collection of 5,000 individual hand-drawn sock puppets. Now, a bit about my background. I got into NFTs a few years ago, and I've been involved in the crypto space for the past 5 years. The amount of traction and interest in crypto, and especially NFTs, has grown exponentially since then. I remember selling my first NFT piece a few years back, basically when I was helping communities shill their tokens on Twitter. Now, for the viewers who don't know what the term shilling is, it's just basically a crypto term for promoting or marketing something. So yeah, the NFT I created was for a token called Flocky Inu. Now, funny story, it was actually Elon Musk who tweeted that if he gets a Shiba Inu pup, that he would call it Flocky, right? Now, this just led to massive hype, and eventually Flocky Inu emerged as a token. Long story short, I was basically an investor in Flocky Inu from its very early days. But yeah, I was asked by the Flocky Inu community to do a Flocky Inu themed NFT piece, which I ended up selling in under a minute for 1 Ethereum, which back then was about $3,500 Australian, right? Now that particular piece, along with some other artwork I did for them, is still displayed on their website, Telegram, and Discord server to this day. And I've obviously got artwork floating around in other communities too. So there came a point about a year later that I finally decided to do my own thing. By then I'd mastered everything about creating NFTs, right? And I thought it would be more rewarding if I worked on my own collection, not only from a financial point of view, but in terms of leaving behind my own legacy in the NFT space. Now, it just so happened that I got the call for a new job at about the same time I was experimenting with creating my own NFTs. And it was through this new job that I actually met Reese, and we immediately struck it off. Reese had also been involved in the crypto space for a while, in particular crypto gaming. And she told me that she'd been actually wanting to release her own NFT collection for quite some time. So naturally, one thing led to another. And after a couple of conversations, we eventually decided to, you know, fuse our passions and our experiences and form what is today known as the SOXIES. Now, the SOXIES, a super cool, super quirky collection. It was inspired by many things. And I think personally, I had quite a hard upbringing. I basically had a very strict childhood. As a child growing up, I was not allowed to go out anywhere. I wasn't allowed to have friends. I wasn't even allowed to attend social gatherings and events outside.
That sounds like a very Eastern European upbringing.
Oh, mate, it is, you know. And look, even things like these days, you'll be hard pressed to find kids who don't have an iPad, right? Believe it or not, I got my first mobile phone and laptop when I was 19 years old. And that's coincidentally when I came to Perth, right? A second time by myself, because in 2005, my parents decided they wanted to move back to Serbia, you know? So as soon as I turned 18, I said, you know what? Give me the briefcase. I'm going to Perth. So I came here by myself at 19. So yeah, that's when I got my first mobile and laptop. Crazy, right? But to fill in the time as a child, I resorted to other things such as reading a lot and drawing. And looking back on my childhood now, I think it ended up shaping me into the creative and entrepreneurial person I am today. I believe to be a good entrepreneur, first and foremost, you need to have resilience. You need to be creative and have a wild imagination. And SOXIES, for me, it gives me that outlet to do my part to spread more cheer in the world. And in particular, the charitable element to our collection is something that I personally really align with. So there was a time when I lost my job and found myself homeless and couch surfing. And this went on for about 3 months, right? I was showering at the local gym and carrying all my life possessions in my car. I was obviously in my early 20s at the time. It was one of the most difficult yet humbling experiences I've ever had. It really made me realize how important the simple things in life are, like good health, having food on the table, and a roof over one's head. Things that most of us take for granted, right?
Yeah.
So I just remember thinking to myself that if I, as a 20-something-year-old, found that entire ordeal terrifying, imagine what a child would feel like not having a permanent home or family. Reese and I wasted no time in agreeing that we would donate a portion of our earnings to charity, in particular sick and underprivileged children, such as those in orphanages and hospitals. It's this charitable element that drives me every day to ensure our project succeeds. There is so much reward and joy, I think, to be found in simple acts such as giving or brightening up someone else's day. And if there's one thing in life that I'm absolutely sure about, Anthony, it's that we should be helping each other, especially those less fortunate than us. Moving on to hobbies, as mentioned earlier, I'm still to this day an avid reader. I love playing sports, in particular soccer or football, depending on what part of the world you're from. And I have a very special interest in sustainability, in particular the electrification of transport. So yeah, coincidentally, that sort of led to another passion of mine, which is promoting the uptake of electric vehicles in WA. And it just so happens that I run WA's largest electric vehicle club. And soon we will be expanding interstate. And our aim is to be the Electric Club of Australia. So we host meets every month. And similar to yourselves at the Bread Brothers, we are doing the exact same thing with electric vehicles, educating the public, about all the unknowns, alleviating any concerns around, this new technology, which, to be honest with you, it's not really new technology, but it is a fundamental shift towards a greener future and a better future for all of us, including our children and the generations to follow. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's basically a little bit about me, my passions, and what inspired me to get together with Reese and launch the amazing SOXIES.
Really appreciate it, Fred. You definitely sound very prepared. And thanks for the humbling story that you gave us from when you were young. It definitely wouldn't have been easy to make a decision as a 19-year-old to leave the country that you've only known to move to Perth and then start on such an entrepreneurial journey to the owner of the largest EV club, which I'm a member of, by the way. So I love coming to those. And I do see that going interstate. So I appreciate you sharing that story with me, mate. It sounds like you found yourself in the right place to be able to give back. So yeah, Reese, welcome to the show. I've met you once before. Had some amazing stories being told about you, and I got to meet you in person literally just the other day. So you are the partner in this NFT project, SOXIES, correct?
Yep.
Awesome. And what's your role in the NFT project?
My main role is to just help Pred out in marketing. I have a degree in marketing, and I thought, why not make use of it? I mean, I'm still I went back to studying after finishing my law degree. I actually am still studying law at the moment. So I don't get a lot of free time.
Oh, that's handy, Fred. She's got a law and marketing background.
Yes, yeah. But same with Bread. I have entrepreneurial tendencies just because I grew up with my family having a business actually my whole life. It's kind of like a car mechanic at home.
Okay.
And also in public transport. But in the Philippines, public transport is not very regulated, so a lot of private entities have public transport businesses. That's what we're
government
into.
Run like it is in Perth. So you can have, if you had enough money and you wanted to start your own railway or bus line, you could do that.
Similar to bus line, yes. We actually have these things called jeepneys. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No.
They're basically like long wires buses, that kind of thing. Yeah, they're unique to the Philippines.
Yep.
And
your
definitely
family
something
was
to
a
look up.
mechanic. Yep.
Yes, my grandfather and my father are mechanics by trade.
Yep.
Yeah, my father ended up having
touching on the entrepreneurial side of things. I'm really interested to hear about how you found a way of income, because it seems like you got some fair bit of experience in the crypto field on the play to earn gaming side of things.
Yeah. So I got introduced into crypto through play to earn. More specifically, Axie Infinity. It started getting really good traction in the Philippines in the peak of pandemic in last year. So yeah, a lot of people were losing their jobs, and so Axie Infinity started getting popular, and you could actually earn more than the minimum wage in a day. So I thought,
wow,
why not? And so I started helping people out. I think I started with a couple people, and then eventually I thought, I should just reinvest this because I don't need the funds anyway, and they needed more than me. And so I decided to tell my friends that if they have half for the team, I would cover the other half, and so they could earn more income that way, and I could help more people.
Sorry, just rewind a second. So you build yourself an Axie team, not of just humans, like you had your own Axies, and you were making enough money, but you didn't have the time to run these yourself. So you started hiring out your accessibility to your Axies, and people were playing with it, and you were cutting them a portion, which was paying them more than what they would have earned with a real job.
Yes. Also, I'm just really bad at the game. I attempted building like the meta teams, which is like the most expensive teams there could be, like top teams, for myself, and I just can't play it. It just ends up going to other people for help. So I just decided, now I'm just gonna let other people play it. They could probably do they do a lot better than me. So. And
how many people did you have playing this game on your account?
I think eventually, in my personal one, because I had a guild with another friend, but so in that whole guild we had a total of 12 at some point, and then under myself I had 6, 7, and then because I'm reinvesting onto my scholars to have their own scholars, they call them scholars, became at some point 9. So 7 directly under me, and then 2 another person, and then yeah.
Wow, talk about an entrepreneur really making the most of play to earn gaming during a pandemic. Well done. Well done. I haven't met anybody that's actually done that before, but I've heard a lot of stories about people in less fortunate countries which have trouble earning and didn't have a lot of support from the government during their pandemic time. So, wow, you created a fair few jobs.
Yeah, and I'm actually getting into another game now, which is a new one. So it's kind of like running alongside my Axie thing. So it's just extra for the people that I'm already helping out. It's called Big Axie. Yeah, but that one I could do myself because there's no skills involved, so I could not suck at it even if I tried to. But I just like the idea of also applying that Axie principle into this one, since they've made it like they've made scholars a huge part of it, and so I thought, why not get into it and help more, since Axie is undergoing a major economic change, and so I thought to help them be more stable
with the breeding. Yes, I've heard. Yeah, well, I'm hearing a few things in your story there. It sounds like you have a knack for helping other people and discovering your own skill set, realizing what you're good and what you're not good at, but seeing that other people can benefit from the stuff that you've created, right, within Axie. And I'm seeing a trend with what Pred was saying a little bit earlier about giving back to the people that were less fortunate. So I'm seeing a pretty good partnership here. What I'd like to be able to do is actually show the audience a bit about, you can already see it on Pred's background already, but a little bit about the art that's involved, if you guys don't mind. Great. So this is SOXIES, super clean, crisp website.
By the way, not finished, right? This is just a landing page, believe it or not. Yeah, nowhere near finished.
That's right. Even as a landing page, sometimes, in my opinion, less is best. You get a good feel for people and their projects just by looking at their websites, and even though this is just a landing page, it looks nice and clean. So these are the Soxies. Wow. So what I'm seeing here is they're all different. Is there a rarity trait to this? And how many are there?
No, there aren't any rarity traits because they're all hand drawn from practically nothing. There's going to be 5,000 of them, each of them individually hand drawn with TLC.
Just to confirm with you, when you say hand drawn, there's 5,000. So do you mean every single image of your 5,000 collection is different?
Yes, they're different. So yeah, we have a team of 5 artists. They're Clacker Studios.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's 5 of them. They're actually fine art students in the Philippines. So it's also just one of the things that like Fred and I kind of like agreed to teaming up with them, because why not like help students create some money out of the art, like
and look,
so they could focus more on studying.
It's very rewarding and life-changing for them. When Reese told me that what we're giving back to them would be equivalent to maybe a year and a half of wages in the Philippines, like that makes me so happy. It just really makes my heart warm knowing that they're looked after, because they're putting in a lot of effort into creating these things. And just for our viewers at home, in case especially for the viewers who are not too familiar with NFTs, I mean, there's thousands of now the apps and software that you can literally generate. You do like 4 or 5 traits and you can generate 10,000 JPEGs from this platform, which a lot of people say is cheating. Look, we said to ourselves, we want to be different. We literally want people to feel the same way, that every person on this planet is different but wants a sense of belonging. That's exactly what Soxies are. You can hold any Soxie, but you'll have a home. You'll have somewhere to call home in Soxies, in our community. Yep. And the greatest thing about it is that we're documenting this. Like, we'll be sharing reels and videos, flip books of how these were created from scratch, so people can see with their own eyes that these are literally designed from the ground up. There's no shortcuts to this, and there's definitely no shortcuts to success.
I cut in the sneak peek preview, guys, that you guys showed me. I got to zoom in on every single one of the ones that they sneak previewed to me, and the art that's actually involved, every stroke, every hand stroke, every size, every character is all different. There wasn't one thing that they had the same commonality with the other one in terms of character of Soxies, which I thought was quite cool, because most projects have like either 5555, 6666, 7777, all the way up to 10,000. Now we're seeing 30,000 PFP projects. And the time and effort that must have gone involved for these artists to drop every single one of these is a massive investment in itself. God knows how much work that you guys have to put into this. So thanks for being one of the, as part of the NFT community, doing something different, right? Because I think it's really refreshing and it's what we need. I've already picked out my character from the ones that you guys let me see, and I'll try to upload the image, but it's obviously a gumball machine, and there's gumballs inside already, and it just spoke to me as a kid. It's one thing I used to always run up to in the shopping centers, put my 20-cent coin in and turn that and get my gumball. But I think that the more you look at these, in my opinion, the better these get, the more you zoom into it, the more you realize, and the more out of the 5,000 you get to see, you quickly kind of want to pick up your own. And although it doesn't have rarity itself, like I can understand what message that you're trying to put out. Like, pick what suits you, because if you pick what suits you, you've got your own. You got a character that you can actually fall in love with. I believe you both have already done that about your own characters.
Yes.
Yeah, our avatars are at the bottom of the website.
Oh, right. I'll pull them up a little bit later. Right, so I actually had a few more questions I wanted to ask you guys. So you guys are planning on releasing this project, so you've got a bit of marketing ahead of you guys. So what can we expect in terms of marketing, and when do you guys plan on releasing the project? if you guys can share that with us.
Sure. Yeah. Look, at the moment, we're looking at, pumping out 125 a week, right, to fulfill a sort of 8-week timeline, give or take a few weeks, right? But we're looking at minting in May, and that'll be the first release. So that'll be the first 1,000. And from there, we'll reevaluate and assess things, whether we go with, 10 releases of 1,000, or whether we, progressively step it up and have 3 releases, with the last one, final one being 2,500. But yeah, we'll keep our community in the loop. For anyone that's interested, the links will be in the Twitter. Obviously Discord. People need to familiarize themselves with these platforms, especially if you've never been in the NFT space before. It all revolves around primarily Discord communities and Twitter for marketing. And honestly, I look at it no different to marketing in the real world. You need to get to know each other. You need to, on a personal level, it's not a case of, oh, I'll like his, or I'll follow him, he'll follow me back. Be curious, inquire, and form relationships, because a lot of the most successful projects, it's the same way in a business, right? If you're my family or I know you, there's more likelihood I'm going to hire you because I know you and I can vouch for you. And this is the same in the NFT space. I mean, today, from a marketing perspective, I woke up to a great email from Top Draw Merch in Los Angeles. So they reached out saying, we're interested in your project. I was just absolutely, flabbergasted. Like, I woke up, nearly spilled my coffee, like, what? They actually reached out to us. So we've got a call with them next week. And to give you guys an idea, I mean, Reese knows, but to give you, Anthony, an idea of the enormity of that, I mean, they deal, they do merch for, the big music, NFT, entertainment names. Like, they did the merch for Bored Ape Yacht Club. They did the merch for Invisible Friends, which is another
cool.
Yeah, so that's stuff
I would rep that. I would love to see it. I'd love to have my guy a black hoodie with the gumball colors popping out. That would be awesome.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So organic more than anything. There have been collections that sold out with literally just 2,000 followers. I mean, let that sit with you. So it's not always a case of quantity, but quality. And I think that's what we're aiming for. We would rather 1,000 loyal followers than 10,000 meaningless interactions, just for the sake of it. So yeah, our marketing is very organic and very experience driven.
Yeah, great, awesome. Well, you got 4 out of us, that's for sure. And when we get down, whenever I can fly down to Melbourne and attend the NFT Melbourne event, I'll be sure to be talking about you guys. But guys, thank you so much for coming onto our show. Really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to tell us about your project. Go ahead.
One more point. And we owe it to Reese to share this, because she has a super cool feature that we have planned for all our holders.
So one of our utilities is actually to be a platform for NFT artists who want to just release something of their own. We then want to use SOXIES as like the community of SOXIES to leverage that. So first, to teach them how to do it and to like learn from other people's experiences. Now, the actual utility for these NFTs will be that they will be picked at random to be whitelist keys, basically. So say we have an artist releasing 1,000 artworks. Based on what we talk about, probably 200, 300 of those will be from people holding random SOXIES. And we're going to be picking that at random. It's not going to be like the first 300. It's just 300 random numbers. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
So basically, growing communities on top of communities. And if you're holding one of our SOXIES, you'll get obviously a first chance to get the next big project that we're rolling out. So the community, I see it growing beyond SOXIES. And I know we're short for time today, and we'll have to probably schedule a completely new meeting for this, but the end vision, the blue sky opportunity for myself and Reese here, is to expand into the metaverse, to be like a portal for artists. We want artists to focus on what they do best, which is drawing, illustrating, creating, right? Leave that stuff to us. So essentially creating businesses within the business of, being in the metaverse, if you can envision one of our artists launching a collection, and they'll be able to basically display that in the metaverse. And we will be able to find the virtual assistants who will be able to man that gallery 24/7 for them. And you could have someone in America, and the artist is in Australia, and they can just jump into that space, run the interested buyer through the artwork, and they can even buy it there and then. Like, that's the end goal for us, is bigger than this. It's creating a means of connecting artists to the metaverse, quite literally.
Very impressive idea to get your own community to become an economy. I'd love to see that work. That'll be very impressive. So you guys are already working on doing something like this right now? Can I ask that?
Yeah, and I'd say that both Reese's experience and mine, I mean, Evie Meets is a classic example. Initially you start off in a community, but then you realize, yeah, you can create a thriving economy, and not to the detriment of your followers. So it's mutual. Does that make sense? So it's a give and take. So you both benefit from it.
It's a really smart idea, and nobody's doing it. So great one. I like it. Awesome. Yeah. Is there any other sneak previews we might be able to leak out of you guys today?
Oh, aside from the fact that we've literally just finished our Paris Hilton Soxie, and unfortunately, I won't be able to bring it up right now, but for all the viewers, if they hop onto our social media, we will be showcasing that very shortly. And who knows, maybe Paris might snap it up.
On your Twitter?
Yeah.
Paris Hilton's a follower of us as well, so we'll if you let us have a sneak preview, we'll post it out there.
Absolutely, that'd be appreciated. And obviously, I just want to say on behalf of myself and Reese, thanks for having us today, for chatting with us. We need more people to get curious. That's what I always say. Incuriosity is our biggest flaw, not wanting to know or being afraid to know. Yeah.
Guys, thanks for taking the time out of the day to come onto the show today. Us at Bread Brothers really appreciate the time that you've taken to tell us about your project. I really got a better idea of, even on this session, speaking to you guys, what you guys' intentions are with your project, where you think it will go, the meaning behind it, your experience, and that gives us a lot more confidence in what we could do with a 5,000 individually drawn project, which has potential utility later down the line. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be on here, and we'll speak soon. Catch you later, guys.
Thanks, Anthony. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.